Ho, bracket busted! Wow! Welcome back to the Red Ones Go Fast. Old Big Mek here, and it's time for the next episode of our Mork Madness bracket challenge thingy. Let's get into it. Oh, I don't know what this Death Skull stuff is, but red squig it ain't. Anyways, for those of you that missed it, we are doing a 64 orc unit bracket challenge, March Madness style. And it was a whole lot of fun. Did the first episode the other day. I will link it up there. Check it out after you've seen this one if you haven't already. But the premise is super, super simple. We are trying to find the orkiest unit with head-to-head combat. But not combat. Most of these ranking videos tend to really concentrate on the rules and like what's hot in the meta at the moment. As I said in the last video, rules come and go. Models are forever. And so what we're really looking at is what units are the orkiest. Now, I did get a little bit of feedback in the comments on the last one on like kits that like are really great to put together and have a lot of kit bashing potential and all that. That's a whole nother thing. We do a whole video series on that and which kits are the best for kit bashing and customizing and which kits kind of stink because they're very monopose. This isn't about the kits themselves. It's about the unit, the essence of what each of these things are. So things like, well, good old War Boss and Mega Armor here. This is a monopose unit. You can't build it any other way. Now, granted, you can convert it. You can do all these other things to it. But that shouldn't affect how cool it is, right? We're talking about the orkiness. When you read orc lore, when you look at orc artwork, when you watch orc animations, play orc video games, are these the things that make you go, yeah, that's orky. That's green. That's what we're looking for. So there is some of that. Now, that to be said, what I did is we're doing 4 of these bracket videos that have 16 units each on them. We started off with Mork Ladz, and we went through the units and we narrowed them down to a final 4. Once all 4 of our big brackets are narrowed down to a final 4, we're going to do a 5th bracket that'll have all 16 of the finalists on there. I wanted to make sure that there was a fair shake for everybody and we didn't like accidentally knock somebody out that really shouldn't be. And I did get a very, very persuasive comment. So at B_C_ did a really, really good go through of his picks, and he made a fantastic case for Knobs to be better than Luda's and kind of go from there. And I think Knobs even ended up winning his overall. And a big part of his was the kit. And again, if we were doing kits, absolutely. You guys know that the Knob kit is one of my absolute favorite kits of all time. But it's not about the kits. It's about the coolness and the orkiness. Now, I can see what he's saying. Me picking Luda's over Knobs maybe was a stretch or a little bit of a hot take. A Knob would totally take out a Luda in a fight. And a bigger orc is orkier than an orc that stole something, maybe, right? Yeah, I could see that. The problem gets when you get here and it's got to face Flash Gits. Flash Gits are Knobs to the 9s, so I still think Flash Gits would have ended up in that final 4 anyway. But it was a really, really fun discussion. So if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of things like that, then by all means, follow along. Okay, here's what we're going to do. If you want to make your bracket and make your guesses before you watch the video, here is where you pause and take it down. We are looking at Gork Ladz. So on the left-hand column, you've got War Boss, Pain Boy, Beast Boss, Pain Boss, Beast Boss on Squigosaur, Weird Boy, War Boss and Mega Armor, and Werboy. And then over here on the other column, it's Shooter Boys, Ard Boys, Gretchen, Squig Hog Boys, Sligga Boys, Commandos, Beast Negas, and Truck Boys. All right, you guys got that? All right, pause here, fill out your brackets. All right, let's get into it. All right, first up, we've got War Boss and Weird Boy. Not Weird Boy, Pain Boy. Blah. Again, that stuff isn't very red squiggy, is it? All right, War Boss we all know and love. Everybody knows what a War Boss is. It's the biggest orc, the meanest orc, the greenest orc. He leads the WA. They are in absolutely every single piece of orc lore. They've been a model forever. There's been a zillion different versions of it, and it is very, very cool. You can kit these out a million different ways over the years and in the rules with different kinds of claws and choppas and sluggas, and you know, you can make them all sorts of DACA-y and all sorts of close combat-y, and yeah, they are just amazing. And then there is good old-fashioned Pain Boy. Now, Pain Boy, in the rules in the game, Pain Boy is good. In the lore, Pain Boy is cool, right? I mean, they do all the orky surgeries, you know, and you've got Mad Doc Grotznick being one of the all-time greats. This particular model has never been my favorite, and frankly, the older ones weren't all that awesome either. So aesthetically, they've always been a little lacking. Now, I do enjoy the little Grot and his, you know, little input thingy and whatnot. But I mean, come on, it's a War Boss. How is any little middling lad going to out-orcify a War Boss? This one is a no-brainer. It's 100-3 on this final score. War Boss for the win. All right, next we have Beast Boss versus Pain Boss. Now, this one was maybe a little unfair, but I thought it was the same kind of matchup that we just did, and so I rolled with it. Beast Boss, fairly new to the game. It is, you know, the Beast Snaga version of a War Boss, and yeah, I mean, he's cool-ish. I don't know really what to think about them. I mean, they're awesome in the game and all that, but we're not caring about the game. Again, we're going for the orkiness, right? Like, it's a War Boss that specializes in taking down big things. But how is that any different than a regular War Boss? And again, they're not snake bites. They are not old world. They are not feral orcs. Beast Snagas actually have more metal and cyborg stuff on them than anybody else. In fact, we'll be showing that throughout this particular video. So, you know, aesthetically, it doesn't kind of line up with what GW has kind of put in the books and stuff. But then you've got Pain Boss. Now, he is also a quote-unquote Beast Snag unit. I don't understand how or why. But yeah, look, he has got completely mechanical legs, a whole backpack full of gubbins, a metal arm, and yeah, he is absolutely getting after it. Now, Pain Boss, I love. I think that they took the Pain Boy and actually kind of made it what it matches in the lore, right? When you think Mad Doc Grotznick, he's boss level, right? Especially when you read the books, the new Gazgul Thraka book and things like that. He is a leader. He does some skullduggery. He is absolutely orky. And the Pain Boss, I think, really ties that in a lot better. So this one's going to the Pain Boss. All right, now we're going to get a little crazy. Although, real quick, those of you going, well, what about Mad Doc Grotznick himself? If you missed the first video, we are not doing any special characters in this whatsoever. All 64 units are regular, generic units. We'll do a bracket challenge with all the named characters maybe next year. Next Mork. I keep trying to say Morktober. All right, anyways. Beast Boss on Squigosaur versus Weird Boy. Now, this one is a tough matchup. Talk about two very, very, very different units and characters in the lore. Beast Boss on Squigosaur, again, kind of a newer unit, although now he's been around for, what, 3 editions at least, if not 4. Very, very cool idea and character. As generic as Beast Boss regular on foot is, this guy makes way more sense. He's a War Boss that found himself a ginormous squig and now rides that around. And yeah, the squig has a mechanical leg, okay? And he's got a nitrous tank. He's a very orky squig. I love this idea. This makes orky sense, right? This is a War Boss. He kicks butt and takes names. But he loves hunting big things, and he found himself a pet squig. Not one of them little attacky biter squigs, but a great big giant squig that he can run around and chomp people on. This is going to be tough. He's really, really cool. Weird Boy. All right, Weird Boys are cool, right? Don't get me wrong. Weird Boys have been in the lore forever. They've been in all the codexes. They've had a million different sculpts, most of them bad. That's why all of us use these other ones instead. But they're always the odd boys, right? Even in the orc lore, orcs don't really like weird boys. They're outcasts. There's something wrong with them, right? They're not that orky. And when you're talking about the orkiest unit, if the orcs themselves don't think they're very orky, how can I win? Beast Boss on Squigosaur takes this one. All right, War Boss in Mega Armor versus Warboy. Okay, this one is, again, a little interesting. So, War Boss in Mega Armor. Now, again, we're not talking just models, because, again, this model is monopose only, but there are older versions of War Bosses in Mega Armor, all the way back to Rogue Trader era, when they were literally Terminator armor and stuff, right? Now, all the bad things that I said about Mega Knobs in the last video, I don't think quite apply to the War Boss in Mega Armor. We talked about, like, how orky is it to put a bunch of armor plating on and be really, really slow to get into the crump, and also not be that great at DACA. The War Boss in Mega Armor is a little different. Because he's so much bigger, he doesn't slow down all that much, and it makes a lot more sense for a War Boss the size of a tank to put tank parts on, right, as his armor. And yeah, he's not armored for survivability. He's armored because he's going to get in there and do some crumping against, like, a greater demon or something like that. War Boss in Mega Armor is extremely cool for all those reasons that Knobs kind of aren't. Like, it makes sense that the biggest, meanest orc in the WA has the biggest, baddest set of armor and the biggest, baddest weapons. I love him a lot. All right, Warboy. Now, Warboy is interesting. It's a weird boy, but beast snaggy. And yeah, I mean, I get the idea, but again, it's an odd boy, right? There are orcs that other orcs shun and stick in towers on kill rigs, and yeah, there's no question here. It's War Boss in Mega Armor. I mean, come on, he's got a V8. How can you? All right, now we are going to get into some much, much harder to decide ones. Again, on Orkiedom. Good old-fashioned Shoot-A-Boy versus Ardboys. Okay, I know all of you probably that don't have a beard greater than mine are going, what in the heck is an Ardboy? I bring you back to the Holy Tome of 3rd edition, and it was actually an Elites unit right here called Ardboys. And really, if you look at the stat line, it is literally just a Slug-A-Boy unit or a Shoot-A-Boy unit with more armor. That is the only difference. They even armored up the same. You had, up to 20 of them instead of 30. But yeah, they could take big shooters, or they could take sluggish and choppas. And yeah, I mean, they're just orcs with some armor on them. They had, I think they had a kit at one point in time, but back in the day, I remember in 3rd edition, it was really, really popular to literally just build an orc boy mob and put some extra bits on them. Usually Space Marine shoulder pads, because everybody had a ton of extras of those, and that would become your Ardboy squad. They were really cool, but they were a flash in the pan. They were in this codex, and then they were gone forever. And so, as neat as the idea was kind of rules-wise, and as orky as the idea is of, like, maybe they weren't necessarily up-armoring in the way that Mega Knobs did, but, like, they just won a battle, and there's a bunch of cool stuff lying on the ground, and they grab those gubbins and, like, throw it on, and, I'm a Space Marine. That's kind of funny and orky, but, I mean, come on. It's a Shoot-A-Boy. When you think orc, how can you not think a green tide of good old-fashioned boys with their shooters just dack. I mean, this is a strong contender for the overall win. Shoot-A-Boy by a mile. But again, we are getting into some tougher ones here. We got Grotz, all right? And I mean, come on. What's Orkiedom without Grotz? Versus Squighog Boys. Now, I know a lot of you are probably going, yo, Squighog Boys right around on the Squig. I mean, I know you got the Beast Boss on the Squigosaur, but how did these guys make it in? Shouldn't they be in with the other fast attack stuff? You'll see when we do the Morky or the Gorky vehicles on why the Squighog Boys didn't make it into that particular shootout. I had to put them somewhere. This ended up being the spot that they made the most sense. Yeah, they're Squighog Boys. I love them. They have mechanical legs. Some of them even have wheels and tires. And yeah, they're being ridden by a beast snagga guy with a grot. And they're both hunting something really big and cool, whether it be a tank or, a demon or a monster or an avatar or whatever. They hunt down the biggest thing in the battlefield and take it down. These guys are a direct descendant to the old school boar boys, which were boys that rode on giant honking boars that hunted down things across the battlefield. So these are very, very cool. They have a long lineage in Orkiedom, either riding pigs or now squigs. Either one very cool. And Grotz. And I mean, come on, they're Grotz. How can you not love Grotz? They're Gretchen. They're everywhere. But again, we're thinking about the orkiest unit. A grot isn't even orky. He's a grot. He's below the orcs. I know my grots are going to give me a ton of flack for this, right? And don't get me wrong, I love grots. I absolutely love grots. But when you're talking about what unit is the most orky, a bunch of sniveling little grots that farm CP and run away, and yeah, I mean, they've always just been cannon fodder to get laughed at. They don't hold a candle to Squighog boys that descended from Boar boys. I'm sorry, grots. Please don't hurt me. All right, moving on with the really, really, really tough ones. We got Slugga boys versus Commandos. All right, this one might be the toughest matchup of the whole thing thus far. I mean, Slugga boy. Again, when you think orc, a green tide of boys with sluggas and choppas, I mean, come on. It's literally the opening scene to Dawn of War. It is literally everything orcdom. It is the cover of nearly every orc codex. Slugga boys. But commandos, right? Commandos are so cool. They're orcs that are cunning and brutal, and they sneak around behind the enemy lines, and that whole kill team that came out and the animation with it was just so amazing because it was all these different mad boy specialists getting together to go cause mayhem and havoc. I love commandos. They are incredibly orky. Again, they have been around since the beginning. Commandos have always existed. There's been multiple kits of them. All the models are really rad. And yeah, I mean, they are just super duper orky, but also they sneak around. Is sneaking very orky compared to, like, simple as, right? I got me Slugga, I got me Choppa. Nothing else better in the world than that, right? I mean, just loving life. Live, laugh, loot, right? It's got to be Slugga boys, but man, this one was a triple overtime, and they doinked it off the upright. All right, last one in this one is Beast Nagas versus Truck Boys. Yeah, I know it's the same boy. Okay, Beast Nagas, you guys should all know by now. They are bigger, meaner orcs based off the old Scar Boys. And yeah, they're not feral. They are not old world. They don't have spears and things. They all have powered chainsaws a la Khorne Berserkers, and they almost all have cyborg parts and craziness holding them together and are covered in scars. Again, these guys are Scar Boys reimagined. I absolutely love the Beast Nagas. I didn't like them when they first came out because I was in that mindset that, oh, they're just feral orcs, this is dumb. They're not. The models are not, the lore is not, and the way that they tie into what Scar Boys were is very, very cool. I love the Beast Nagas. Now, Truck Boys. Until this edition, Truck Boys were a thing for a lot of orkydom. Basically, it was a specialized boy squad that rode around in a truck. I know, why did it become its own unit, and then why did it go away and all that stuff? I do love the idea of Truck Boys or boys in their truck, but I mean, every orc loves a truck. I got to give it to the Beast Nagas on this one. There's no question on that. The old school Scar Boys becoming Beast Nagas, definitely more orky than just orcs in a truck. I mean, I love orcs in a truck, but every orc is going to ride in a truck. Why should it just be a boy? All right, here we go into round 2. We are taking this Elite 8 into a Final 4. First up with, well, I guess I should show you my sheet. Here's the sheet so you can see where we're at, see if your bracket is busted or not yet, and where you are at. And let's get into it. Okay, we've got War Boss versus Pain Boss. Now, this is a tougher matchup than War Boss versus Pain Boy by a lot. Again, Pain Boss, by dint of the name, is a boss level orc. He is a boss level orc that cuts other orcs up for fun. That's pretty orky, right? And pretty gnarly, but also it's a war boss. Like, man, what a tough, I mean, War Boss, it's a bigger, meaner, greener orc that leads a wah that all of the other orcs have decided collectively, like, oh yeah, he's the boss. Like, how do you get more orky than that? I mean, again, Pain Boss, very cool. And especially, again, we're not talking just on the game board, right? We're not talking just stats, lore-wise, right? You think about, like, the Mad Doc Grotsnicks of the world. But here's where I think it gets it for me. There's only a handful of orc Mad Docs and Pain Bosses that ever rose up to do something, to lead a WA, to be important as Mad Dog Rotsnick. There are literally countless war bosses leading countless WAs throughout the galaxy in a given moment. That is Orkiedom to a T. Close one. A lot closer than maybe I had anticipated. But Warboss takes the victory and makes it to the Final Four. Alright, here's another really tough matchup. Beast Boss on Squigosaur versus Warboss in Mega Armor. Okay, let's break this one down. Again, we talked about war bosses being the biggest, the meanest, and the greenest, and a V8 powered mega armored one is even bigger and meaner and greener, right? But also, this guy's also a war boss, right? And he's big and mean and green, and instead of covering himself in tank parts, he got himself the biggest, meanest squig he could find so that he could rampage through the battlefield even faster. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is tough. This is really, really tough. Don't get me wrong. Like, the back and forth on this one, you could totally argue in the comments either way. I mean, War Boss and Mega Armor, incredibly cool. It's everything that we love about War Bosses, but even better. But so is the Beast Boss on Squigosaur. I mean, he's a big, mean War Boss that grappled something else. He found a monster and went, "You're mine now, and I'm going to ride you, and we're going to go Tyrannosaurus through a battlefield." I mean, that is about as orky as it gets. Beast Boss on Squigosaur for this one. All right, other side of the bracket, and boy, again, we're getting some toughies. Shoot-A-Boy versus Squighog Boy. Ooh. Again, we're talking about Orkiedom. Obviously, like, rules-wise or on the battlefield, the Squighog Boys take it by a million times, and model-wise, I mean, I love a Shoot-A-Boy, but a Squighog Boy is even cooler. But what is Orkiedom, right? I mean, it's a good old-fashioned orc with a Shoota going daka 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 versus a orc on a squig or a pig running around the battlefield getting the biggest, baddest, shiniest thing. Again, this is like a triple overtime doinker off the upright. As much as it pains me to make the Shoot-A-Boy go away, I think we kind of have to, don't we? Or is it more like the Beast Boss on Squigosaur, right? Is everything this guy is up to 10, but because this guy's just a regular boy, it's not quite as cool? Yeah, this is so back and forth. I mean, if there was ever going to be a draw, this could totally be it. Okay, initially, I was thinking Squighog Boys. I really, really was. I could be argued into it very easily. But, I mean, it's a Shoot-A-Boy. If a Shoot-A-Boy didn't make the Final Four, would I have any credibility at all? It's got to be Shoot-A-Boy. I mean, what is Orky? What is more Orky than a Shoot-A-Boy? He makes it. All right, final round of this, final battle of this round. Slug-A-Boys versus Beast-Snag-A-Boys. This, boy, I thought the last one was hard. This is nearly impossible. Okay, it's a Slug-A-Boy, right? You're talking about what is the orkiest thing you can think of. A regular orc with a Slugga and a Choppa as a green tide. I mean, that is the classic everything. Like, I mean, as the classic piece of art. Like, that is orc, but also Scarboys, man. That they're these guys that have been through more battles and gotten scarred up and gotten better Choppas, and they're still out there doing their thing, having their wah. It is a Choppa Boy cranked up to 11. And again, they've been in the lore forever as Scarboys. I mean, here they are right here, and it talks about them bearing the scars of dozens of battles, growing exceptionally big from fighting in numerous conflicts. I mean, it's just the natural progression. They are the even orkier version of the humble Slug-A-Boy. So, oh man, this has been a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I have to give it to the Beast-Snag-A-Boys on this one. They are just a little bit more. All right, and that brings us to our final four in the Gork Ladz shootout. You've got the good old-fashioned War Boss himself, the Beast Boss on Squigosaur, the humble Shoot-A-Boy, and the Beast Snaga Boy. Now you take that Final Four with our previous Final Four, which was Tank Bustas, Flash Gits, the Big Mek with Shock Attack Gun, and Bubble Chukka. And yeah, you can see these fights are getting tougher and tougher and tougher, and we haven't even gotten into the vehicles yet. We have 2 entire more brackets of vehicles to go through, 32 more units to narrow down into 8 before we can do our last 16 shootout. This has been an absolute blast. I love digging through all the codexes and reading the lore on things and just kind of remembering how orky everything is. And it's been a lot of fun to drag all the models out and compare them and look at them and stuff. Yeah, so if you've been enjoying this, go ahead and smoosh the like button for me. I'd appreciate that. Share this one with a friend. And again, if you haven't seen the first video, I highly recommend you go watch that one right now because it was a lot of fun too, going through all of the Mork Ladz. Okay. That has done it for all of the Ork Infantry guys. Everything after this is vehicle or very, very vehicle adjacent. You'll see what I mean. And yeah, so we have 2 more of these to go. So definitely make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss those uploads. All right, that's going to do it for this one. I'll catch you the next one. And until then, Wagon!